We are live. We have Ross Tavendale, the best link builder in the UK, isn't it?
Oh, your check's in the mail. Thank you very much. That bribe clearly worked. What an introduction.
Yeah, well, you told me in Brighton last year you shouldn't say link building. What's the current enterprise compatible word for that?
Oh, yeah, link
What's it?
acquisition
Oh, link
specialist or some nonsense. Yeah.
link acquisition specialist. Okay, all right, we'll go with that. Just let me close all the notifications I have running here. And you know how the game works. We had a couple of sites suggested. They say they want our help. Hey, Ross is.
What a great time for Christoph to go offline. So I'm sure he'll join us back in a second. So for anyone watching, hello, please do leave any of your questions in the comments and we can get right to them. Also, if you've not submitted a website, please feel free to do that. We've got quite a lot to go through. Annie's back. You've not
Hey,
paid your
folks.
Wi-Fi bill.
No, I just found the most annoying bug you could build in a web application. The back button wasn't locked. I accidentally, I had a nervous thumb and I just went out of this with the back button. So let's move this window away because we share our screen
We've got
anyway.
a SEO celebrity watching us, Mr. Craig Campbell.
Oh,
Hello,
can't
Craig.
get any better than that, can
There we
it?
go.
Craig, great to have you here. Uh, you want to join us right now, if you're free? Okay, so let's start, guys. We have SEO experts and we got 16 sites. These are randomly picked from this randomizer here at random.org. And we roll the dice with Michael Mohammed with hellhorror.com.
All right.
Hellhorror.com, the witches. Did he mention
Are you
something?
never worried when you use the randomizer that someone's put a bunch of adult sites in there and we're literally about to click on God knows
Actually,
what?
I'm not sure if you saw the checklist that people shouldn't show any porn content in the live show, and of course that is for me as well. But I think you are right. That is some risk, but because we are preparing all that, we run Link Detox, Smart, or even the full link research tool Smart on them. Um, yeah, we look at the sites before, so there shouldn't be too much nasty stuff. However, then baiting us and then flipping the switch right in the live show would be some fun, and I think that would be, would get some extra props from me. Hey, and here's another man. Great to have you here. So, what do you think about the Hell Horror site? What's that um thing
Yeah,
about? Is
so
this a blog?
yeah, it looks like some sort of a movie review site that's based off of horror movies, so anything up and coming.
Mhm.
Interesting with these sort of sites, they're kind of hybrids of like they're publishers, but they're also resource
Mhm.
websites. And because a lot of the times they're speaking about something that isn't actually in the movies yet or isn't actually in Netflix yet, when you're doing keyword research for this stuff, the number is always zero. So it's actually it's very hard to decide what ones we should talk about
Mhm.
because there's no keyword volume for them yet because they don't
Mhm.
exist. So this is
Mhm.
quite an interesting one.
Okay, so let's look at our backlink profile. We have a detox risk above 1,000, which generally means a penalty or at least something algorithmic holding them back, depending on the industry. In this case, it looks like they never did any kind of disavowing because we even have automatic filters triggering. The globe is the most prominent spam pattern on the web, and we, after all these years, haven't figured out how they make money except for the removal links where they offer people to remove themselves. But when you look at those websites, they all look the same, and they are so popular that we built this one click fix button to just get rid of this 1800 spam links. So usually you have these disavowed, and very fresh websites don't have them. But this website has been around for a while. This is what we can tell from this pattern. The other thing that I'm wondering about is maybe I should disable my ad blocker. It looks like they are just, their monetization model is just either selling links or selling ads. Or Did you notice some buy button, for some of these movies? I would imagine, that you would want to have a.
There may be some affiliates in there as well. I'm seeing a lot of big ad blocks and things like that. A lot of it above the fold, which I think
Mhm.
is fair enough. But there's definitely
Yeah.
smarter ways to monetize this. The thing that I would start looking at is because a lot of the movies they're talking about are older movies that already got a fan base attached to them. So, for
Mhm.
example, Stephen King
Yeah.
books being turned into movies, I would actually
Yeah.
have a section where you can buy the books, buy the movies, buy starter kits, buy, being
Right.
like sell masks and dress up stuff for it as well. When Halloween comes around, I'd be selling lots and lots of that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
There's lots you can do with this.
Yeah, I mean, it looks legit to me in terms of the content. Seems like there's really some kind of a fan building this itself, tracking all these upcoming horror releases. Now, when we look at the linking domains, we have some. Okay, let's get rid of that filter. We have some Infonet UK sites, so not overly spammed from some gibberish. Okay, here's some scraper spam. The GQ is one of those domains where we can safely say, yeah, wallpaper spam is something that where we even have pre-built filters as well. Get free high quality wallpapers. That's how much in terms of domains? 650 domains. I would just, disavow these in bulk just to clean up. And what I'm wondering, besides this cleanup here, how would you build links for a site like that?
So when we build any sort of links, we look at kind of three major factors. We look at either identity, utility, or social information. So
Hmm.
identity is something like I identify as being a fan of this, or like gender's an identity point, location, being a fan of horror movies, and being a film buff. These are
Hmm.
things that people say
Hmm.
about themselves.
Hmm.
Utility is something physically useful, so like calculators and things like that. Social information is something that people believe. We either want to break it or confirm it. So
Hmm.
this site obviously plays into identity really, really well. And what you'll
Hmm.
find is if you go into things like, well, a good example would be maybe like Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Hmm.
There's loads and loads of community sites built around that one particular series, and there will be more and more depending on what the actual movie is itself. First thing I'd be doing, having a look at Googling for all the top blogs that are about, there you go, all the Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan sites, getting in touch, link exchanges, pitching them content. And because you're not an obvious commercial entity, it's likely they're probably gonna be more receptive to taking that content off of you.
Hmm. Did you notice something about the website being okay? Here's movie recommendations. That's movie recommendations from the author, from the person, or from the group running this. Who's running this? This is my next question. I get a recommendation to spend some time with a movie, spend some money with a movie, and I have no idea who's talking to me, right? Shouldn't that be
Big
somewhere?
I don't think EAT is much of a problem with this sort of site, but again, one
Yeah.
of those things that's mentioned in the guidelines is that having faces and names put to it instead of just anonymous content is gonna help, so
Mhm.
it looks a lot more natural. I'd be really keen to put this through Search Console so I can see what their schema markup is, make sure it's all validated. Obviously, you've got movies and characters and things. I'd be keen to look at their rankings to see if they've got any snippets.
Yeah.
So that doesn't look like they've got a ton of schema on there apart from some basics. So I'd be
Yeah.
keen to
Here's
have a look
art.
at that
Hmm.
article, which is probably wrong for movie reviews and things like that. And I'd be wrapping all that information in schema.
Yeah, a review schema would probably match here. If this is a review with what 38,000 votes, that is something I would expect in a review schema. And then, isn't there a schema specifically also for movie data?
There is, and also casting characters. So you're not going to get the snippet for casting characters because Google, like they do, they scrape content off your site and then they build it into their search engine and kill your traffic. So I imagine if you were to type in Buffy characters, they've monopolized that. So you're not, you might get a secondary snippet, but it's unlikely that you're going to rank for that. So as a strategy, I would probably steer. Yeah. So there's no point in trying to
Yeah.
rank for that sort of stuff. So I'd steer clear of that and try and look at something where you still can
Mm.
take clicks from position one or position zero.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they got the schema information for a couple of years now. Would be stupid to not utilize all that from what webmasters gave them. I guess, especially movie information. Look at this. Based on the people, they also have a cross-reference to other movies, and I don't see a point to go to another website at all, um, unless they give me something that I cannot find. But so far, I'm only seeing these movie recommendations, which I'm not sure how they were generated. Why is Idle Hands? Is that also a vampire movie? Yeah, interesting.
I'd be keen to
Mm.
cross-reference this against IMDb just to see how much of it is actually their content and how much of it is scraped and pushed back up. So if you
Oh,
do like a site colon search for one of the URLs, it'd be interesting to see how many are classified as duplicate.
uh-huh.
That might come up quite a bit.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So it looks like they're pulling from IMDb. So they might be a scraper site themselves.
Right.
A very good
Well,
scraper site, but still.
if you're doing that, then you better add some extra values. Look at some of these Seth Green fun facts. Seth Green is also known as Robot Chicken. Uh-huh. Interesting. And I'm guessing Robot Chicken. What? Let me just look at
Yeah, it's
that.
all over. It's all over the place. I mean, looking at their traffic, they are getting some traffic, but it's for really wild, long tail keywords that don't really have anything to do with movies. So the things that they
Mhm.
are ranking for are not movie related, which tends to suggest that there's some sort of filter being placed on them when it
Mhm.
comes to their core content, and then they're just accidentally getting secondary traffic.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Oh yeah, here we got the dot. We even have a standard filter for the dot scraper spam to just disavow the next 588 domains. And we just recently, I think it was on Twitter, had this gentleman come up that, of course, disavowing lots of these scraper sites helped him improve his rankings. I forgot the name. It was about a week or two ago, and he just showed, before and after in his traffic after disavowing, making a point that, of course, you need to take care of your own backlink profile. You can maintain that, you can clean that up, and not rely on Google, solving your problems for you, which, you know, I think was never a good idea. Regardless, if it be disavows or any other topic. When I show this, the keyword breakdown here by color, all the deep red here are toxic links. So a reverse approach would now be to actually, look at all these domains linking. We have some of them disavowed already, but when I look at a link profile and look at um, the risk here, when we look at just the low risk links or very low risk links, look at that, the very low ones, and see that some of them are actually also scrapers that we already disavowed. My question is, what is left? If that is the best they have in terms of risk in their links, I get the feeling that we might have another backlink problem for websites, like we had a couple times already in site clinics. You can clean up, of course, the obvious scraper spam, and then, maybe we in the domain overview, I haven't looked. We see some negative SEO patterns. Okay, here 24 malware links. Let's 24 links out of what thousands doesn't really make or break it. And then we got toxic links that we can disavow in bulk, PBN links that were probably utilized in the past, but after all of that work, I think there's not much left. So here we got high potential links to improve, 57 that we identify. So when I'm starting a link building campaign for a website like that, I take these 57 only and look at them and see if they maybe qualify as an additional citation. Building a link to their website is one thing, but if you can maybe in another paragraph or in an auxiliary article mention some of these links that go to them that actually have some trust, actually have more trust and power, so might sit on some sub page, might be worthwhile giving these uh, maybe older pages linking to them, another citation, just to increase the power a little bit and, so to say, maintain and groom these links. But these are just 57 out of 28,000, which still, 43 domains to maybe check out. A weird press, okay, I think that's a match. Horrorfix.com sounds like pretty on topic. Vampire Ladies Book Stuff, Blogspot, could be legit. So I would go through these and see if there are some articles to mention as well, just to, do high quality second tier linking if you want. And
One of the first things we do, Christoph, when we're
yeah,
running these sort of disavows is we actually don't look at the bad links first, we look at the good links
yeah,
first, and we
yeah,
just take them completely off the table, and then we're down with the kind of seed set. Then we flip it on its head, go to
yeah.
the absolute rubbish, super toxic links, just blanket sweep them out, and then we've got
Yeah.
this kind of grey area middle ground, and that's when we spend the time to
Hang
to
on
go through it.
a second.
Christoph's one of the busiest mans in SEO. I imagine that's some sort of Amazon parcel. That's how he gets his links. He gets them delivered directly to his door. When it comes to building this stuff out, what I'd really recommend is getting some sort of strategy based on what you can see in your link profile. So in this particular instance, this site looks like it's maybe only got a handful of what we classify as decent links. And as we're doing these sort of disavows, what I can recommend is if you've got links pointing to like much older pages, because this is close to a publisher rather than a static site, I'd actually go as far as to remove the pages on the
Mm,
site if they're not driving traffic and there's a bunch of spam pointing
mm,
to them. So if they've not got any value to the user, not get any value to your site, plus that's where all the spam's pointing to, I would actually
mhm,
remove the page and 410 it just to completely remove it from the index.
mhm. Yeah, very good point. We have 7,900 target pages. That is 7,901 page that has some link, maybe some spam link, but that is another signal that this has been around for a long, 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 long time. And just taking these down and maybe redirecting them after making sure you don't redirect any toxic links could be worthwhile. Some of them, when we look at the target 404, okay, it's just three that currently only resolve to an error. Sometimes we've seen, thousands of 404 pages, and this is even what it looks like a typo or a mis miswritten. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're fine. So what this looks like is potentially something that is to do with the actual CMS itself. So what I would recommend in this instance is just a full crawl of the site to see where those broken tags are. What you typically find when you see HTML tags in the URL is typically because there's a break at the template level. So by actually fixing those breaks at the template level, you're able to knock out a lot of those problems at once. So that's
Mm,
probably the best place to start from.
yeah, yeah, right. So these are just internal problems, probably. All right, shall we switch to the next site?
Let's
I
see
think
another.
we had we like I always used to say, we can switch after 15, 20 minutes because there's always more and deeper to go in. But it also responded fast, at least on that side. I remember one with Craig Campbell taking 60 seconds to load. Um, so
That's just because Craig lives in Glasgow and they still power their internet with backup generators and oil lamps up there. That's got nothing to do with the website.
okay, all right. So here we got leasing SOS leasing, Polish site, and I'm guessing this is Find a site that offers. Where's my translator translating to English? Yeah. At what stage of leasing are you today? Choosing a leased item, applying for a lease, signing a lease, or receiving? Generally finance. Uh-huh.
So as a
485.
general, nothing to do with SEO, but for CRO and general usability, using jQuery sliders like that is very Web 2.0, and it's
Mhm.
not doing anything good for you. There's no reason for those call to action buttons to rotate round like that. I would
Yeah.
get rid of all of that. It'll help your site speed as well if you kill off the jQuery.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, we often have such issues on site, and at least that one is responsive. Um, we had a lot worse than that. So, but I agree. Uh, wow, look at this wall of text. You can finance it with virtually any corporate. Okay, this is the auto translator. Let's not go into the copy. Carriage of passengers. What do we
First thing,
see?
just looking at it, is the way the URLs are looking to be structured and the way in which they've siloed all that information. So if we start clicking into these pages, so what they're doing here is they're actually using the blog functionality as a landing page. Now the blog is a time-stamped entity. So if you want to rank for truck leasing and you wrote your landing page 2 years ago and a customer comes to it and sees, oh, it says 2018, like, so just a bad idea. I would really look at building separate landing pages with no date stamp. If this is built on WordPress, there'll be automatically schema in the back of it as well, which will say that it's a blog article and it's not a service and things. So you're going to find it hard to rank.
Oh, there's a schema for financial service.
There you
Interesting.
go. Well done.
Good job. Collection page, news article. Okay. Okay, the schema. Yeah, because I'm on the category page here. Okay. Call to actions. The form here, of course, a lead gen site has to have that form, and it's actually a decent form. I mean, the phone number, okay, they want to call back. But I think last week or 2 weeks ago, we've seen a form with 5 more mandatory fields. No way in hell I'm gonna fill that out. I mean, I wouldn't fill that out anyways, but I think first name, email, phone number is the minimum they really stuck with. That's cool. That's cool. Now I want to. Oh, look at all these links. Where are these going? All internal links. Good. Okay. So.
One thing on internal links that I would mention, some of the work we do with internal links is not necessarily adding internal links. We actually sometimes remove them. So
Mhm.
if you're very overzealous with internal linking and you've got a single page on a single topic, but it's linking out to multiple topics, perhaps because you ran a link building campaign to that page and all the power's there, I'd really recommend that you draw that back a little bit and try and topic match. It sounds so basic, but the amount of times we've done it for clients' websites, removing the links instead of adding, it's actually made a big difference.
You mean adding 100 internal links there to spread the link juice around is not what you would do?
Sadly, no.
Oh man, but you could put no follows on some of them. What is your stance on what's it called, PageRank sculpting, using no
So
follows to optimize?
So I've seen it on e-commerce sites where there
Hmm.
will be category pages where you can click buttons to change
Hmm.
parameters on a particular page, and then they no follow that. There is a use case for it, but
Yeah.
should when you say page rank sculpting, I don't think that's quite how that works. So when we're thinking about that, we need to think of page rank is one thing, but then trust actually going from page to page is a completely different thing. And that's what
Hmm.
link builders forget a lot of the time. It's like the analogy I use is being a gangster. If you're a gangster, you've got lots of power and lots of money, but you don't have any trust. So it's very hard to get that full thing, right? It's the same with link building. You
Hmm.
can buy lots of high powered links and you've got lots of power. But if there's no trust there, then you're still not going to rank, especially this guy's in finance. He's not going to rank if he's in finance.
Yeah. Where's our gangster? Here's we built this thing some years ago. With the high power would be the gangster here.
There
We
you
called
go.
him Nitro, a very explosive guy
Yeah,
with
yeah.
low trust. This is what we measure with our LRT power and LRT trust as well. And I think I'm with you on that. Oh, look at all these links. That's quite a lot of links. And also the navigation. Okay, it's a block navigation, but what is this? Okay, the calculator. Oh, this goes to the calculator function of their website. Where is it?
So like an Excel download. So that's like a lead generation thing. But yeah, it looks that's a smart thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you give them their email, you say that GDPR is not my concern, and then you get oh, a free trial to Microsoft Excel. That could even be an affiliate link. I like it. Not bad. So what about the link profile then? SOS leasing. Here are some high risk links showing actually very, very popular high risk links. But it's totally possible if we would do a competitive research and run a couple other finance or even leasing lead gen sites in Poland, that we see a similar pattern and that a risk of 1081 is actually still what everyone else has. So that's something, where we have a feature called Link Detox Tune, where you can fine tune specifically to your own industry. And I'm not saying this is payday loans, but that's next to payday loans. And just yesterday, I think we had a longer discussion on LinkedIn with a person saying something along the lines, you know what? I think you cannot rank in payday loans if you do SEO the proper way as Google suggested. Write content and write press releases and um, industries like finance or casino. These are high margin industries where you always have risk in the backlink profile. Actually, have to take on risks because you won't be able to acquire some of the links otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I was having a great conversation with Julia, known as Irish Wonder, on
Yeah.
Twitter, and she
Hmm.
the exact word she used was "shit rolls downhill." So when she looked at all of the different classifications of websites, from like those hardcore things like payday loans and things like that,
Hmm.
it does become completely impossible to deal with it, because if you think about the way that Google's ranking things, they're looking at each of the sites in a topical cohort. And if you're in payday loans, all they can do is compare you to the rest of the payday loans. So
Loans.
actually, without a little bit of spam, a little bit paid, a little bit this, a
Yeah.
little bit that, it's actually
Definitely.
impossible to compete. I appreciate they've got their own manual view and also different algorithms that look specifically at those industries.
Hmm.
But I've yet to see anything in gambling or payday loans that is not breaks every single guideline that Google gives you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Just before our show here, I have to check out the live chat. I had a guy coming back. Oh yeah. Hey dear, I'm providing paid service. General sites. Kindly check it. Few sites below are a few of our blogs to check. Can we check if we want a link on some of these blogs I just got offered here? UP News Info AI Authority. What's that? E-consultancy?
E-consultancy is a legitimate marketing website, so they've probably got a login to that site. So they probably have a UGC part of the website.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, I would simulate all these link opportunities. Let's say that's the only legit, and the other ones are, well, at least I haven't heard of them before. I just got that offered, 30 minutes ago in our live chat. Like probably 100 other webmasters too. And then maybe, if we find some good stuff here, we could get leasing SOSPL a link real quick. What do you think about buying links like that, from unsolicited spam? You done it before?
Uh, yeah, absolutely. I've done pretty much everything before. Try everything once is my motto in life.
Yeah.
and depending on what the site is and what you're trying to do, like it'll work well or it'll go down like a lead balloon.
Hmm.
So the problem with buying unsolicited links from unsolicited spam is that's exactly what it is. It's unsolicited spam. So that guy has got you on a list with 10,000 other SEOs, a lot of which will be much less senior than you and much more willing to give cash for the hope and the dream of what this link will do. So
Hmm.
the likelihood that it will help you is very, very low.
Hmm.
However, if you're in gambling, payday loans, things like that, and they're cheap enough,
Hmm.
if you can name your price and you can put as much anchor text in as you want and things like that for those what we call black hat industries.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's absolutely have a go.
Hmm. Yeah, so I would at least, then set them up in the monitoring, where we then track their risk because we have clients actually also because we just mentioned the payday industry, in the payday loan industry, where um, links are being simulated and then the better ones are being paid for and trying to, get an exclusive deal, trying to pay double or triple or even more money than what they ask for with the clause that no other person gets a link there. Problem with that is, all these people that ping you on LinkedIn and web chat and whatnot uh, are offering sites that have been around forever on these lists. So usually you already tap into territory where there's 100 other or 1,000 other link buyers have been before, and then you put yourself in a really bad neighborhood. I actually wrote an article about. Oh no, not here. I wrote an article about a bad neighborhood years ago already. Now let me find it. Oh, it's with a dude here, the neighbor guy. Here we go. Co-citations and bad neighborhood. This is what I would recommend to anyone reading, explaining the concept, how you would actually get in touch with other websites, even if they don't link to you at all. Here, this is example best. In the past, you had paid advertisers just site right links or in the footer or in the sidebar. And when all of these casino and drug sites would have a link, and the sunglasses guy here as well, I'm not sure if you can read that well, it's so small. The sunglasses guy would be in the neighborhood of the prescription drugs, of the online gambling. And it's rather the sunglasses guy that is being hurt from that relation rather than the other ones. So I think, when you're in gaming or any other of the black hat industries, you get away with a lot more because quote a Google guy some years ago, we only have 10 or so results to show. So if we wipe out the top results for spam, the next 10 come and they're also spam. So I think that's the situation you described before as well. When it comes to the links, active links, I only have 48 domains. That's it. I mean, with all the previous ones to clean up, it's only 62 domains. So my my thinking is, Windward, Switzerland. My thinking is for an industry in the finance vertical, that doesn't sound a lot, especially in Poland. So,
Definitely not. So we were very lucky to work with some national banks and national finance companies in the UK. And one of
mhm,
the interesting things is when you look at their link profile and also when you look at their search console,
mhm,
there is a very heavy brand anchor text correlation and brand traffic correlation. So
mhm,
the more people are typing in the brand name, the more the generic ranks. And
mhm,
typically the backlink profile is like 99% um, branded. So
yeah,
that would be something to consider.
yeah, and that doesn't look too bad here as well. I mean, I see some HTTP, some SOS leasing brand name. These are all brand links, and you know, where's the money link? Okay, here's a money link. The leasing. Oh yeah, if you don't know that feature, where is my translate plugin? Oh no.
So that's their Excel calculator. So it looks like they've created this asset on the site for people to use as a calculator, and they're actually using that to generate links. So it's actually a very smart way to do things. If you look at Google guidelines, that's probably as close as you're going to get to being within the guidelines. You make the content, and then it generates
Mm-hmm.
the links. So
Mm-hmm.
as a
Mm-hmm.
strategy, I'd be looking at how I can extrapolate that out. They've got it as an Excel spreadsheet. That's a really unusual thing to
Mm-hmm.
see. Usually it's just a calculator that's made as some
On a
sort of web
website.
app.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So maybe playing with that would be a good way to generate some more.
Yeah, I would actually, they just have 60 domains linking, but I would take their 2 or 3 competitors and just run a competitive landscape analysis then here, which is part of link research tools as well, and then find out which of those other websites have which links and where. Because obviously there's a lot more in Poland, and then just use Pitchbox to reach out to those websites. If those websites already link to another calculator, there you go. This is something beneficial, something to give away, which is maybe just underpromoted. Yeah, calculator leasing EU. Uh-huh. This one has 299 backlinks, at least. Let's see. Target URL contains calculator leasing you. 9 of them from 5 domains. Okay, that looks more realistic, although frustrating. That's it.
Feels like they're
After
mentioned in a
checking,
lot of forums.
yeah,
So there's
here
some
we.
chatter about it on forums. It doesn't look like anything is as any sort of editorial placement. So the first
Mhm,
thing I like to work out is of the links, how many are actually inside of content as part of a piece of editorial versus a mention on a forum or something like that.
mhm,
All of them are important, but if I was building them, I really only care about editorial.
mhm, mhm. It's interesting how these forums here actually follow links also. We show them as high risk, except these 2 here. And when we check them out on the site, oh, they're taken down, broken, then crawl state, Centrum. That was the most popular domain here. Yeah.
It was like a Polish car forum of some variety, which
Uh-huh.
feels
Yeah,
legitimate, but they probably didn't build that. That's probably just customers asking questions and linking.
yeah, 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 yeah. That needs some link building for sure. And yeah, okay, some redirect chains, 2 or 4, but with that link volume, I wouldn't really worry about the number of problematic links here on this. There is some stuff here, maybe an abandoned forum, but compared to many other sites I've seen, yeah, 7 links to improve. You can work on that, but besides that, I think uh, competitor link research, checking on where else to pitch that calculator would be more en vogue and more helpful than trying to clean up, let's say, another 2% of the links or so. So let's go to the next site. Oh, Michael Mohammed. What time is it? Ralph Gossin with When Man. What? When Man York. Man York.
Van Man York.
Oh, what's that? A van rental service? No, removal service. It's taking out old stuff from buildings, right? That's what it is. Removal.
Yeah, like end of tenancy removals
Mhm,
and things like that,
mhm.
junk removals. So this is actually a particularly challenging niche to be in, especially at a local level, because typically
Uh,
what happens in these worlds is you have a local level SEO guy. In this case, it's
mhm.
a place called York, which is in England. And the local SEO guy, if he's good, he's bought up all of the expired domains about York and Yorkshire in that particular area, and he's built a super powerful PBN that is just dedicated towards that particular area. So if you're like an international SEO or a London-based SEO coming in to compete with this, that's going to be challenging because he's holding all these cards up his sleeve. It'd be interesting to see where he ranks and what he ranks for.
Could it be someone? You want to pull up some report from SEMrush or Systrix or whatever you're using?
Yeah, sure. So the URL is vanmanyork, is it .co.uk? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just posting it here in the comments also for the others. When York. Oh, by the way, the guy holding these PBNs for local, someone we know. You have someone specifically on mind?
No. So I'm just like what I tend to find is when people approach me and they've got like the London local guy or the Manchester local guy or the Berlin local guy, like they have just sucked up all of those domains because their entire business is around local SEO in that area. So when an agency like Type A come in, we don't have any of that because we are an international agency. So why would we have links for York?
Yeah.
However, there is ways to reverse engineer that.
Let's try. Let's see what he has. It doesn't look too bad. When York. Wait, what's that? Okay, 1400 on the risk. Here's a virus link. Okay. A little bit of negative SEO, 522 links. Oh, out of 2,500, that's actually, oh, no. Links is 15,000. Okay. Still minority, although worth keeping track of. High risk links, PBN links. Here we go with some PBNs. Let's see. What do we find? Source domains 250. Whenmanyork.wordpress.com. Used to be his previous WordPress blog. What amazing conversions.
So when I'm looking at some of these rankings that they've got and they're generating traffic for, like a lot of it's a little bit all over the place. So we have usually when I look at someone's the keywords that they're ranking for, and if I don't see things that are related to the service at the top keywords and they're a bit random, then that tends to suggest there's a content problem first and foremost. So they do rank for some things like man and van, which has got a lot of good volume, but they rank on page 5, 6. So that's a power problem. So first things first, you need to sort out your link profile and start building a little bit of power in. Second thing is they're ranking for words like the Chuckle Brothers, kids jokes, UK, wardrobe boxes. These things have got nothing to do with the core service. So I'd really look at what's happening with your content plan. And this looks like their anchor text.
I look at that. Choose a removal company is totally overdone. I do see the van, when we just look at the by count, this is the most popular one. And it's even a long tail phrase. I mean, it's an actionable long tail phrase. Choose a removal company that is with 519 links. Too much. Van Man York. Okay, let's classify that as a brand. Whatever the man, when man. We got more Van Man, and then Van Man with a blank. Moving Van Man. Could that be another guy who calls himself the Moving Van Man?
Could be. The question is, does Google think that it's actually its own entity or not? So one of the things I'd be doing here, so if they're called Van Man York and they don't have their own GMB snippet coming up and they don't have, so it looks like Google understands the words Van Man York as an entity, as a business. Because as you can see here, they've got the snippet on the right-hand side. So they know it's a business and it's not a generic keyword. The next thing I'd be looking at is that first result. Why is there no site links on that first result? There's a couple of small site links there, but to me that screams out, I'm completely underpowered and my internal linking needs fixed. So when we see these little small site links and not the big 6-pack site links, that's typically because they don't have the power to internal pages. and they've probably just smashed everything to the homepage. So I would address that first and foremost.
But I do have schema here in the right structured data helper. This awesome free extension. They use the moving company schema. I didn't know that exists, and
Smart.
it doesn't have much content except, well, no, here's the postal address. Okay, that's cool. A service again as a service area specified. Acamp, Bella, Cabot. All these cities here are defining the service area, which I think is cool.
One small optimization I would ask them to do, just so we can understand how much of this traffic. So, firstly, we're looking on desktop, and 99% of this traffic will be mobile. So, switch the user agent and view it on mobile and start looking at those rankings. Also, in their GMB profile, we can see that they've got their URL in there. It just goes to a landing page. I'd heavily recommend putting UTM parameters in there so it shows up in the Google Analytics event tracking, so I can differentiate what the traffic from Google is. Is it from the main search results, or is it from GMB pages?
So let's look at some of their. Okay. Different layouts, different sizes. Here with a phone. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but this huge photo of the vans. I'm not sure if I would put that all above the fold, but still works nice.
It does. I mean, if we were to look at something like unbounce.com, they're the landing page optimization guys, they would typically say that the form needs to be above the fold. So what I'd actually do is split that header image in half and have one half as the form. There you go. So this is getting into
Yeah.
more traditional lead gen territory.
Yeah, but also here they have all the content and even the video before they even show the quote. If you just size this down. Okay. And yeah, what about wallpaper spam? Nothing. Just dot spam. Nothing. And high risk links. Weak domains, PBNs. I would try to get down below 1,000 here when it comes to the link risk. I would also say redirect chains on the source pages could be an issue, but if we have 41 pages with redirect chains, those redirect chains may just, slow down everything, or even if it's too many. Oh, awesome. 2 redirects and then a 404. So that means the site structure here, from my point of view, could take a cleanup, and at least all these 23 pages that have links from somewhere, also internally, could get a redirect. At least to some category page. More than 5 target hops? No, at least not that.
Interestingly, Christoph, one of the things we see there is that's a non-secure version with a www going to secure version and then 404ing. So what it looks like is they've migrated this site at some point, and what they've done is they've just crawled the site and said, here's all our URLs, let's redirect. The problem with that is all the various indexed URLs that have ever existed are now either jumping through a daisy chain or they're 404ing. So these guys should probably unpick their migrations and start there. Archive.org, good place to start. There's actually a API REST URL. You can put the URL in, it will give you the last 20 years of URLs on a domain. Start there, crawl that list, and that's how we should start putting things together.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a lot of work. Are you doing that? Is that one of your services?
Yeah, well, it's actually not a lot of work. So all you're doing is crawling a list. So, I mean, getting the list is hard, but...
Okay. Cool. Yeah. What I see is Polish links here from Polish forums, Japanese links, and the NetEase Gamer. Look at that. From a linked list. Not sure if I want to click there. Use the in-game preview rather than that. Hmm. Uh, mm, no, no. I don't like that one. And at least disavowing that one on a page basis. Looks like there are some that could be, no, that's interesting. In LRT we show the last scene crawl data as you have in all the link tools when we discovered it first. And have seen it first and last. But what we also do is we estimate when we actually think that link was created. And we use the schema data, we use page data. We try to extract from the content of the page, like Google tries to extract the real publishing date from the pages, which sometimes is abused, but it's better than the last crawl date that you have, or the first crawl date actually, which in this case was probably just wait. Where's the first crawl date? First scene date? Oh no, it was 4 months ago. Oh yeah, we have that site that long. Okay, so be it. Um, could be some spam to clean up. Um, besides that, redirect chains. Hmm. Yeah, I like your idea to look into that redirect chain.
So I can give everyone, there's a URL that you can hit on archive.org that will do all of that for you. If you give me a
Yeah, show me.
second, I will
Uh-huh.
drop it. I will drop
Yeah,
it in.
okay. Oh, that's cool, yeah. And meanwhile, oh wait, it's been an hour. You have time for another one after this?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Oh, here's cheers from Anton.
Hardest working man in search. I thought Anton was an AI robot until I met him in real life.
Oh yeah, he's everywhere.
He sure is.
So, work. Mir.ali
All
with
right.
Pakistan web server.
So if I can just quickly show you this, Christoph, this is a very
Uh-huh.
easy way to get every single URL that's existed for a particular domain.
Yeah, go. You want to share your screen?
Yeah, sure. Let me just do that now.
Mm-hmm.
So can you just see at this plain white screen here?
Yep.
So what you can see at the top is webarchive.org. And all I've done is, because there's an API endpoint on a URL, I've just put the guy's domain in here. And then I said, give me everything, give me the last 20,000 domains you've ever seen from 2007, so quite a long time ago, right up until 2020, everything that returns a status code 200. And what we can see here is these are all the URLs that they've been able to find since kind of time
Oh,
began. And
yeah.
then we can strip out everything that's JS and PNGs and things like that, and we can crawl that list. And very quickly, I can see where you went wrong on your migration.
Oh, that is brilliant. The last time I coded some scraper for Web Archive was when you had a 10 to 20-second response time just to restore some expired domains. There were people smarter than me building better services than later on, but that is a long time ago. Can you share that link in our comments? Is that?
Sure, yeah, let me just put it in there it is in that private chat if you want to share it with the guys.
Yeah, I think we can.
So the nice thing about this is if you use Google Sheets as part of your workflow at all, you can literally import, or Excel, you can import the XML and put that as your URL source, and it'll just pull everything into Excel for you. If you're using Google Sheets, you can also then get it to do a server response and tell you if it's a 200 or not, or if it's a 302 or a 301. You can very quickly build workflows with this stuff, and you can find all these problems very quickly.
Yeah, you probably need to do some cleaning up then also on
Yeah.
are there duplicates in there or something?
doesn't look like there's a lot here. So what I'd recommend is you pull this in, Search Console, Analytics, and then you're in the index that you have on them, because you'll have probably the largest index, and that'll be every URL that's ever been discovered for the site.
Yeah.
Deduplicate and then crawl. Sounds like a lot of work. It's actually not. You could probably do it in about 15, 20 minutes if if you had access to everything.
Yeah, I totally love this because this is another way how we could do our restoring. You know, when we wait, I lost you. Where's our window with you? Oh man.
Are you on one of these? I'm on an ultra wide monitor, so I can see. I can see.
No, just let me remove all these windows here. It's good to hear you still though, but which of these is you? No, close.
Let me
Oh
give you a
man.
surprise for when you come back.
Ah, look at me. Here you are. Here you are. Oh
I've
man, you look great.
I've turned black hat. This is my
Black hat. Awesome.
yeah.
Very good. All right, so let's look at the final one. You can tell, for me getting confused from all my windows that it's way due to finish up, but I need to take a look at the Pakistan web server here that we had in the last draw. 1935 is way too much for every website because we are looking about web server services. We can maybe say we can tolerate some spam and 6 virus links won't kill you overnight. I would still disavow them. High risk links, toxic, negative SEO patterns. Not surprising in this industry. Um, a total of 1,300 linking domains. Also not a lot, but maybe if this is focusing on Pakistan alone. Mm,
It's
chances
a
are.
very lucrative. So if you're an affiliate, this is a very lucrative industry to be in, because typically
Mhm,
hosting companies will give you unlimited lifetime commissions just through one sale. So it's a very good industry to get into.
mhm. But also super competitive, right? Everyone's paying
Yeah,
quite for.
exactly.
I think it's about cheapest dedicated servers. I'm just thinking, are these web servers hosting in Pakistan? No, hosted date, okay, data, Europe, US, Pakistan, India, Turkey. I'm missing China or any of the other countries where you could host, copyrighted material and get around DMCA. I think that would be the next level. DMCA safe or bulletproof hosting. That's what they call it. Bulletproof hosting to ignore all kinds of, what's the torrent sites? That's where torrent sites.
International copyright law.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So more servers hosting for $1 a month. Reseller hosting for $1 a month. Let's get started. Uh,
So you're making me nervous. So we're talking about neighborhoods and C-class IPs. This is the sort of thing where I just don't know what is going to be on that particular server. So I like to do a reverse domain IP lookup, and I like to see everything that's on the same C-class IP as I am, and look for any sort of like things that really jump out at me as something that would cause me problems.
yeah, and I'm guessing. You know what? This website doesn't have a link problem. What do you do if you rank number one for anything and then people cannot buy? Is this just a template site? No, no, no. Here we go. These buttons here work. Get configure. These ones work. Um, and this is the typically what is this WHCMS or something? Looks like 100 other reseller sites. This is just a backend
Yeah.
generating all these products. Rapid SSL order now. Okay, so it looks like you can actually order. Some of these buttons here on the front that were above the fold, like this learn more, if they don't work, you should fix your site first. Doesn't look like It's bad hosting when we look at the speed, 37 milliseconds. It's cool. Um, when we look at the links here, TLDs, COM, India, OrgNet, XYZ, not necessarily overloaded with spam. And, I think the risk in a domain risk is just because there is a lot of bad links and not many good links. I see, what is this? LinkedIn plus huge domains, SE Roundtable. Shall we guess? Here is a comment. It
Yeah,
was a
I don't
comment.
think I don't think Barry's been selling links to Pakistan web server affiliates
But he has been selling links in the sidebar for many, many
for a
years.
long time. Yeah,
Mark them as no follow. But
he done an interview about he got a penalty for it ages ago and he just left them up, which I thought was a
oh wait,
baller move.
I think I missed that memo. He had them at no follow anyways all the time, didn't he?
I remember seeing something where he was just completely defiant. He's like, "Listen, they've been there for 10 years. I'm not going to change anything."
Yeah. That I remember. And then, oh yeah, he took it off.
It must be
But
deleted. Yeah.
that's interesting. It must have been in the last year because when I wrote that article about a year ago, when they talked about no follow to zero, I looked up his paid links and he changed them to sponsored
Hmm.
in September 2019. That was a year ago. And I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I made maybe even no. Damn it! I made a screenshot there in my 2.0 article. Impact of no follow 2.0 with
Well, what is your thoughts on the rail sponsored rail UGC stuff? Where do you see it playing out? Because I'm not seeing a lot of it throughout the web.
no, not at all. We had some. Yeah, here we go. Google says disavowing bad links may help you, and he had. I remember Ahrefs and Tim Solo were there on, I think it launched on Wednesday. And then on Thursday morning, they announced they have something implemented already. But we were there the same day. But to be able to show these new link signals, these new link tags, you had to recrawl everything. And of course, they were not finished recrawling the whole mega index in no time because it takes, I don't know how many days or weeks or a month. But because we recrawl every backlink profile on demand the moment we want it, we saw all these sponsored and UGC links with a lot more, a much wider range sooner. And Search Engine Roundtable was there September 11. Yeah, that was, what is it? Almost exactly a year ago. The thing is, I would I would expect Google in a couple months or years come and say, you know what, it was an experiment, but we don't care anymore if you do UGC or if you do sponsored. The biggest issue I see is actually not with Google, but with all the non-Google engines. Because no follow, when you see this example here, uh, adding rel equals no follow has been around for 15 years. So Google, Bing, Yahoo, back then they had their own corpus. They all implemented that. Yandex, Baidu, they support it. This new change to add sponsored or UGC to the link was done only by Google. Okay, well, Google is important, but what happened is that many websites, and I think also the WordPress, I might be wrong, maybe it's the WordPress is doing it right, but they exchanged, they switched from nofollow to UGC. And while Google understands UGC and sponsored, the other search engines ignore that and suddenly see a switch to a follow link. They ignore the words that they don't understand. And if there is not no follow in there, they suddenly started counting these links. So that kind of messed up things a little bit. What I think we have seen in the last couple months already is the impact of Google just counting more and more and more of the internal links that were no follow. all kinds of weird effects when people talk about the core update and not seeing something, conclusive. Of course, you won't see anything conclusive because site structures are being interpreted differently and backlink profiles are being interpreted differently. What Google essentially said is, you know what, we do what we want. If we see a no follow link and we think it makes sense to count it, we're gonna count it. But I guess for the most of the no follow links, they would still not count them. And so, in a sense, the whole no follow to zero thing was more an a written confirmation of what Google has been doing, anyways. I'm always mentioning the Wikipedia links. Links from Wikipedia being no follow, obviously helping you if they stick around, not just get deleted the next day. And that has been the case for what, 10 years? No, 15 years since no follow has been around. And then I pulled out some different scenarios of what Google could do in specific industries, in specific niches for specific topics. But yeah, I think we will never know. They could
There's probably
totally,
cofactors
yeah,
when it's in somewhere they've probably got for different types of sites and different niches. There will be cofactors. That's why it's so brutal to try and work out things when you're looking at a link base. Because if we're looking at the travel industry, then comparing it to the finance industry, those
yeah,
are different. They're thinking differently about it. Same with those things with like high trust but high
yeah,
power. That there's so many things to kind of mix up there.
yeah,
For the longest period of time, I've been talking to a lot of SEOs about potentially an unlock. So even if you're getting no follow links, but they're very high trust, that actually has an effect on the rest of the profile to a degree. It's
yeah.
just anecdotal. The problem is if you want to prove it with data, you need to be you need to fire up a BigQuery instance and be a data scientist to even get remotely close to understanding
Oh,
it, and it
yeah,
changes every
yeah,
day, so it's pretty
yeah,
impossible.
yeah. I think the various approaches to, let's say, take 500 people and do a poll here. What do you think? Is this an important factor or not? Like Moss has been doing for 10 years or so. Uh, are interesting, but that's it. And the approach to try to test something, even in a very, 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 very isolated situation for specific redirect types, like I did 4 years ago, it takes months to set that up in an isolated environment, and then you still cannot be 100% sure if not something else has tampered with the results. And then comes a new update and everything is gone. And I think, I mean, it's it could be totally changed. And Google is certainly not fond of us trying to reverse engineer the algorithms. And over all these years, which has been 17 years, I've only noticed more approaches and more interesting creative ways they put on us to not understand things. Uh, that the real-time penguin update, for example, 4 years ago was when they said we're gonna calculate finally all the spam signals on crawling time, which was amazing because people now can, essentially get a penalty and then get out of the penalty also algorithmically. But there was a time 2 3 years where the penguin penalties made you crash and then you had to wait for a long, long time. But thousands of websites crashed. And that was gold for data people because we had thousands of sites, thousands of backlink profiles to reverse engineer to build what we have in link detox today. But that was a window of opportunity from 2012 to 2016. And if I would be starting today with link detox, I wouldn't have a chance to train a system as we did in the years before. And I think that's also something that Google isn't too fond of, right?
No,
We
well, if
have
you look
this
at the
window.
models they're using, well, the models that they use to train all of that information now changes on a variety of factors, so that there's no one absolute measurement.
Yeah,
So the way you would need to do it is take lots of absolute measurements and then look at an average of what's going on. The problem with that is because it changes and updates in real time,
yeah,
what it
yeah,
means to be spam or toxic literally changes the moment you touch it. So it's very
mm,
you can make generalizations, but I think
yeah,
when you built LRT, you had a lot of absolute data, and that's the foundation that they've built a lot of these algorithms on. So
Yeah.
when we use LRT and we start disavowing things, 9 times out of 10, you see something positive
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. 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 Thanks for that. The I keep saying, I'm not scared from people building their own link detox clone because none of them can go back in time, collect the data that we collected. And this is also why we publish a lot of the rules and the signals that we look at. But combined with the data that we have to match it up, of course, it's not an algorithm if this then that
well, you have
signaling.
your own user signals as well. So you've kind of got a AI human army. So of all those people doing those disavows and manually looking and deciding good, bad,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have that data to put on top of the original data set as well, and no one
yeah,
else has that. So
yeah,
that
yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah, no, that is fun. I mean, you cannot trust that all the time. Like with all user signals, there's so much crap in there, and we 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 built so much stuff in there in 2012 to try to filter that out. But what I learned about what more filtering you need is uh, is gold. I mean, I could write a book about that just alone. Just one typical misconception is people say, "Oh, you have all the disavow files, so you know which websites are shit that we need to get rid of." But the truth is, this is why we built disavow file audit. 20% of the links in there are actually not bad. Often when we see them, which now has. I wanted to show that here, maybe. Um, Potential links that you should undisavow. No, it wasn't here. Maybe it was the other website. I think I saw it briefly in what was the one before the SOS, the leading SOS. One of the rules that we have. I stopped sharing the screen. Anyways, one of the rules that we show now is we found some links that you should look at again and maybe undisavow because that's, I would say, a standard use case for everyone onboarding. Anyways, it's been what, a long time, more than an hour, not 90 minutes yet. I think we're gonna call it a day for today.
Well, I'm getting ready for my weekend stuff because Type A Media, we have a 4-day work week. So Thursday is
Oh,
technically the last day of the week for us. So the beers will be getting cracked any minute now.
oh, lovely. Well then, cheers to you and your team, and I love to hear that. You still get stuff done enough with the 4 days?
Yeah, we experimented. So December last year, we had loads and loads of work on because we've got a lot of
Mhm,
e-commerce clients and things like that.
mhm.
So I said to the team, guys, can you come in every Friday in the run up till Christmas? And we got nothing extra done. I just, we didn't. Simple as that. So four
Okay.
days works well, and they don't get it automatically; they earn it. So if
Mhm.
they don't do all their deliverables and ship all their work to their clients, they don't get the Friday off. So
Okay.
typically everyone gets it, but there's a lot of late Thursday nights. So it,
Mhm,
it seems to
mhm.
work well, and it means that we hold on to people for a long time. Like our longest standing members now was as old as the agency. So we typically
Wow.
hold people for quite a long time.
Mhm. Awesome. Yeah, Type A. You have someone you're hiring currently? You're
Lots of
looking for
people, yeah.
people?
We've got we're looking for PR people, link
Mhm,
builders always.
mhm,
So please contact me if anyone's in the PR
mhm,
industry looking for. It's all freelance work, so we hire people for campaigns. We don't have
mhm.
in-house people. The
Yeah,
reason we do that is because it's the same as a copywriter. If you get a generalist copywriter in your business, and then you get a finance client, well, they're not going to be very good. So you want to get a specific finance
yeah,
copywriter.
yeah,
Same
yeah,
with PR, like you want a specific guy to do the
yeah,
right work.
yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Awesome. Yeah, then. Thank you very much, and good luck for you and your team as well. And see you soon.
Brilliant. Cheers, Gustav. See
Bye
you
bye.
later.
Cheers.